So India made the top 16, you guys. Divita Rai, and a lot of people are shocked.
Exactly.
Up next is...
Oh, I'm about to sweat. I'm sweating.
India!
Let's go, India!
For human beings to have a greater sense of connection with one another. My father struggled really hard to come out of his impoverished circumstances. My aunts and my cousins are still out there working in coffee fields. They're just as dedicated, they're just as talented, but it was just that freedom to choose for myself that's led to me being here and living my life.
India made it, y'all. India made it.
So Miss India, as you guys know, her name is Miss Divita Rai. She is from Karnataka, I think from Mangalore specifically, and she made the top 16 this past weekend at Miss Universe. There was a lot of thoughts about Miss India, about Divita Rai, and her placements. A lot of people doubted whether or not she would even place at all. And I kind of want to dissect this and talk about it because I think that it's quite interesting that people did not have her on their leaderboards. I did make a video already dedicated to her prior to her placement, just speaking about my thoughts. But now that we know her placement, that she did in fact secure a place, I just want to kind of give her accolades and give her recognition because I think she deserves that at the minimum. So yeah, there was a lot of people who did not place her at Miss Universe, not even in their top 16, or if they did, they placed her at the very bottom of their list. And it was quite shocking to me. When I thought about Miss Divita Rai, Miss Universe India, I really saw a lot of great qualities. I won't go too much into her advocacy or anything. You guys can watch the previous video. It's the first video I ever made on this channel if you guys want to see more of my thoughts on her. But what I will say is that we as an Indian pageant community, I think, did a really good job at coming together and supporting Divita Rai. I think in the beginning, during her crowning, a lot of people, myself included, had a little bit of doubts or a few doubts pertaining to her. And we definitely did question her at some times, but I think the support just grew. And I think that's what should happen regardless of who gets crowned as Miss India in the future or otherwise, because at the end of the day, Divita Rai won the crown, so there's no reason for us to doubt this queen. Instead, she'll benefit much more from our support. So I'm glad that we were able to come together collectively and for the most part support her. Let's talk a little bit about the pageant and the weekend itself. Leading up to the pageant, we saw that Divita was wearing some great outfits. For the most part, I'm really happy with their styling. I did mention in the video that the styling was questionable for the Miss Diva org, but that was prior to a lot of the activities initiating, and a lot of time has passed since. So I am happy to update that I am quite content with her styling, with her outfit choices. I don't know if you guys saw her lehenga, but the lehenga that she wore was just divine. It was gorgeous. She was glowing in it. She was twirling for the cameras and the press. And overall, I was happy whenever I saw interviews of her. It looked like the press was really supportive of Divita, and I think a lot of people, myself included, were just shocked upon her arrival. She really came headstrong and was not shy about showing off her pasarela or her walk, about just showing off her personality, and I think I only fell in love with her more, including most of the global audience as time passed. As far as her preliminary performance, I was quite happy with it. I think the dress itself, the preliminary gown, evening gown, was a bit questionable. I know a lot of pageant fans, and myself included, were not the happiest with it, but I will say from an audience view, it looked stunning. I just think that maybe the camera did not capture it in its full essence and did not do it justice. However, I do think it was quite heavy on the bottom, and we saw that Divita had a little bit of trouble walking in it, especially when it came down to going down that step. Whenever you have a gown that doesn't have a slit or does not have room for the legs to move a little bit more freely perhaps, it does cause some trouble for walking for anybody, right? Not just Divita. And I know that Divita could walk down some steps. If you watched her crowning ceremony, she walked down several steps. during that crowning ceremony when she first was announced as Miss India. So I have no doubt that she can walk down one single step. I just think the dress was quite heavy and difficult to handle and move around in. So that is my observation for that. I do think that her evening gown during the night of competition was not my favorite. I wasn't a big fan of it, to be honest. I think it's time for Miss Diva to go to a little bit more of a daring direction. We saw Venezuela, USA, and we even saw South Africa for several years come out in more daring and out there gowns. And I think that it's time for Miss India to do the same. I think that we need to pitch the gold, the silvers, the metallics, throw that out the window. It's time to go in a direction of color. We have these beautiful brown women on this stage, and we need to start highlighting them and really using colors that complement their skin tones. There's a variety of colors other than metallics that would really do their skin tone justice, and I think that it's time that we utilize those colors. There's no reason why we have to continually use metallics. I love Hernaz's dress, but I think we need to change the color and go with something that's actually like boom, pow. I think that will really help our queens stand out. A lot of times, the gown can save the performance, even if the performance is okay. I think that her swimsuit competition was just, the swimsuit round for her has always been her strongest round. I think that she shines and excels in the swimsuit. Evening gown definitely showed a little bit of trouble for her. Even during the final night, I noticed that final turn seemed a little bit difficult, but again, I just think that the gown was heavy on the bottom. There's a lot of fabric on that train, so I don't know. I just think the choice of gown was poor. I think that there is a better choice, and I think it's time to go back to the drawing board and get some better gowns moving forward for future editions. But other than that, I think she looked gorgeous. In person, she looked amazing. I'll go ahead and insert some clips too from that night somewhere over here for you guys to kind of just see and get a view of what it looked like. I tried to record the best that I could, but honestly, I was like one of like 5 people that I saw at the competition holding an Indian flag. And actually, you can't see my face, but you do see me, and I'll put it up here. You do see me on TV with my flag. With my 5x8 big Indian flag holding it up. I just wanted to take a moment to hold up the flag when no one else was holding up their flag, because I wanted Divita to hopefully just see that there is someone in the audience supporting her, to hopefully give her a morale boost. So Divita, if you saw that, I hope that I gave you a boost. If not, I'm still happy that I got to represent and hold up the flag. So yeah, I'm glad that I got to do that. I think overall there was a lot of doubters and people who were just hating on Divita. Actually, at the competition on the night of Miss Universe, there was someone I talked to from a powerhouse country, and they asked me who I was supporting. And when I said India, I mean, I support all the queens, but when I mentioned India, they chuckled and they said, good luck, she's not placing. Funny enough, that same powerhouse country did not get a placement, so maybe, hold back from doubting and putting down other queens, because karma's real. Moving forward from that, because I don't want to get in too much into the drama and stuff of things, I also want to say that this is India's 4th year of placing. Congratulations, Divita, for carrying it on. And this is their 3rd year being Asia's flag bearer. And for people who want to, battle or contest that fact, no, you're wrong. This is India's 3rd year as Asia's flag bearer. 2020, Adeline Castellino only went from Asia in the top 5. 2021, Hernaz Sandhu, obviously from India, was Miss Universe and won. And in this year, Miss Universe India, Divita Rai, was the only one from Asia who qualified. And you guys might be thinking, what about Laos? And the owner clarified on live that Laos was the fan vote. I'm very happy for Laos. Congratulations on your first placement. Your queen is beautiful. She did an amazing job and held her own up there. However, the fact is that India is the only Asian country that qualified. And what I mean by qualified is that the judges, put their entries and their votes for her to be in the top 16. If there was not a fan vote, India may have been the only one in Asia to be placed in the top 16. So I think that we as Indians can, should, and have every right to be proud of that. I think so many times people put our country down, especially because in the years prior to Radhika Singh, we haven't been placing very much. And I think that we need to take pride in it. Every other country hypes up their queens. Every other country has such pride in their queens. You know, Filipinos are so prideful, Venezuelans are so prideful, Colombians, Thais, Indonesians, Cambodians, Vietnamese. I think that we as Indians have every single right to take pride in our queen, and I'm going to be prideful. I don't know many other pageant vloggers on YouTube who are of Indian descent out here hyping up our queens, so I'm gonna hype her up. I don't really care if it seems annoying. Oh well. If everyone else can brag about their country, I can brag about mine too. One thing I want to say about Miss India, or Miss Indias in general, is that a lot of times people will not place a Miss India high, or they will look down upon Miss India, especially Divita Rai this year, because they look like your everyday Indian. Divita looks and is a representation of an everyday Indian woman, and I think that that is beautiful. We as Indians are not shy about representing our women. 2 of the past 3 years have been South Indian women, which is not something that is really represented quite often. And Harna Sandhu herself comes from a religious minority. She comes from the Sikh minority, which doesn't have representation as well often in Indian media, or Punjabi people are often misrepresented as people who are alcoholics or people who just are dancing, monkeys on, television. So I think that Miss Universe India specifically has done a great job at having diversity and representation in their women. I do think that I would love to see a darker skinned Indian woman, but I'm still happy that we have brown skin toned women on our stage. We do not take shame in someone looking like a regular Indian girl, whatever that means. A regular Indian woman, girl, whatever you want to call it, is beautiful. Our people are gorgeous. Our people are beautiful. Just like every other nation, right? Every nation has beautiful people, but we are not ashamed to put out there someone who is just a representative truly of Indian people. And I think Divita is just that. She's kind, she's respectful, she carries her cultural values, and she's not some type of unobtainable beauty. I think that she is beautiful, right? But if I looked at her, I'm like, yeah, she's definitely from India. There's no doubt about that. And I think that is the most beautiful part about our candidate, is that she's from India, and there is no doubting that. There is no doubt about that. So with that being said, guys, I want to wrap up this video. I don't want it to be too long, but let's just keep supporting Divita. She is still Miss Universe India. She still has endeavor. She's still out there in the modeling industry, and she still has goals. I don't think that our support for our queens needs to end when their reign ends. I think that we should continue to support them beyond just their reign. And yeah, Divita, I'm so proud of you. You did an amazing job. You may not have came back with the Miss Universe title, but you definitely won our hearts and our support. And we are so, so proud of you. And we're proud that you got to represent India, and we wouldn't want to have it any other way. So if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please put your comments down below. I will have a video coming up about my overall review of Miss Universe, the finals. I will have a video coming out about some of the surprises, such as Celeste from Philippines, such as Anna from Thailand. I'll also address Lakshmi from Indonesia, and I'll address Miss Vietnam, amongst a few other queens as well. And yeah, so be on the lookout for those. Hopefully they will come out this week, but it just depends on how school goes. That's my priority. So if not this week, definitely next week I will get it out. Yeah, stay happy, you guys. Make sure you guys follow me down on Instagram below, be in my description. Feel free to interact with me on there. And yeah, looking forward to talking to you guys later. Adios.